welcome to our YouTube channel Math with Jiva. In this video, I'm going to discuss about a continuation part of break-even analysis. In our first video, we talk about the break-even formulas, and I told you before coming to the break-even charts and limitations, it's better to have a knowledge on sums. That means you want to practice few sums. For that, I posted few sums to my Facebook page. It is Math with Jiva. So before coming to this part, it's better to go through those sums. You can visit my Facebook page, it's Math with Jiva, and go through those sums before coming to this part. Okay, so let's get started. In this video, I'm planning to talk about the different types of break-even charts and limitations of break-even analysis and the differences between economist break-even chart and accountant's break-even chart. Okay, can you remember very first day when I was talking about management accounting? What is the purpose of management accounting is to provide information, provide reports to internal stakeholders to make their decisions. Based on the person who is going to make that decision, the way we want to provide the report will be varied, right? So some of the managers, when they are making decisions, they prefer to have lot of information. They need lengthy information, each and every point they need. And some of them, they prefer to have graphical information, but in those graphical information, the graphical presentation, again, we want to provide each and every small information together with that graphical presentation. But some of them, they prefer to have only the important information. They don't want to have lot of information. Based on their interest, based on their management pattern or the style, we as the management accountant need to adjust and provide our reports. Whatever the scenario you come across, or else whatever the question types you can have in your examination, it's better to learn all of them. So we'll start from the first subtopic. It's types of the different types of break-even charts. Under that first chart, basic break-even chart. So I am going to show you basic break-even chart, and I'll show you what are the items you can see in the basic break-even chart, right? So here it is number of units, right? It's number of units, and here it is the rupee value, right? In the basic break-even chart, we are going to have our fixed cost line and total cost, total revenue, and we'll see how we can graphically present it. This is my fixed cost line, and this is my total cost line, and this is my total income line. Now I'm going to name them one by one. Look at this. This is the fixed cost, and this is the total cost, and this is the total revenue, right? And the point where this total revenue line and total cost line meet each other, we call that this is the break-even point in units, right? And this is the break-even point in value, right? And also, what is this? This is the loss wedge, and this is the profit wedge, right? Now can you see the information you can have with the basic break-even chart? Fixed cost line and total cost, total revenue, and your break-even point in units and break-even point in value. And if you know the number of units you are expecting to sell, you can find the margin of safety too. Margin of safety in unit, right? So these are the information. So you can look at, well, how about my loss wedge and how about my profit wedge? So there are two wedges, and break-even point in units. So these are the information you can have from the basic break-even chart. Let's say I told you there can be different types of managers or internal stakeholders who prefers to have different types of information, right? So this fixed cost, whatever the number of units we produce, whatever the number of units we sell, we have to incur this fixed cost. So some managers, they don't worry about this fixed cost because they know whatever the number of units we have to produce or whatever the number of units we sell, we have to incur this cost. So no point of worrying about this item. So better to think about the contribution which gives us results, that is the performance results, that is contribution. Let's say if so, how we can calculate contribution? Now already you know it is the difference between selling price per unit and the variable cost per unit. Here you don't have any variable cost. To find the variable cost, first of all you want to get the difference between total cost and fixed cost to get the variable cost value, right? And after getting variable cost value, then you want to have the difference between total revenue and variable cost to get the contribution value. If so, now what happened? Whoever the manager who is going to refer this type of chart, that is the basic break-even chart, and he is interested on contribution value, what happened? He wants to calculate the variable cost and he wants to get the contribution separately but after getting this value. So it's little bit complicated. So as the management accountant, I should know what type of graph I want to provide to that particular type of manager. So for that, I want to select the contribution break-even chart, not the basic break-even chart. Because from the basic break-even chart, you can find that information, but it's a lengthy process. So what should I do? Now I want to move to contribution break-even chart. Then I'll show you how you can have contribution break-even chart. So it's like this. So it is contribution break-even chart. Contribution break-even chart, right? And I told you they don't worry about the fixed cost line. Now they want to worry about the contribution. For that, definitely we should have sales value and the variable cost. So this is my variable cost line, right? And let's say this is my total cost line. It should be parallel to each other. Why? Because the difference between this should be always same. So that's my fixed cost value, right? It's like this. And my total revenue will be started like this. Now what happened? This is the variable cost and this is the total cost. This is the total revenue. Now to get the, so here this is the break-even point in units, right? And this is the break-even point in value, BEP in value, right? And here this is the loss and this is the profit. So while getting all this information, now you want to have the contribution value. How can you have the contribution value? It is the difference between total revenue and variable cost. If you want to have, in any case, if you want to have the fixed cost value, now not like the earlier graph, you don't have the fixed cost line, then what you can do, the difference between total cost and variable cost, it is the fixed cost. Now these are the information you can have from the contribution break-even chart. Whoever who is going to refer these charts according to his or her requirement, what are the information he or she needs to make their decision, the type you are going to provide will be varied. Then the last break-even chart type is profit volume chart. With that, I want to tell you something. Can you remember when I was talking about break-even formulas, I told you there is another popular term for break-even analysis is cost volume profit analysis or else CVP analysis. And I promise you to tell why we use that term when it comes to graph. Now it is the time to explain the reason for that. Third type of break-even chart is profit volume chart, and it's little bit different from the basic break-even chart and the contribution break-even chart. I will show you the difference. It's like this. Look at this. So far we didn't consider about the negative side of y-axis. Now I am going to have here it is the rupee value, and here it is the number of units, right? Okay. In this chart, we consider about the profit value. Here 0, you don't have any profit. So this is the loss and this is the profit. See the information you can find from this graph. And this is what? Fixed cost, the cost you want to cover. And this is what? Break-even point in unit. Now look at this. Cost, volume, profit analysis. Straight away at once when you look at this graph, you can find how about your loss and profit, and what is your break-even point, and what is the amount you want to cover to achieve this break-even point. Simple. So you have this information, your cost, right? This is your cost and the volume, profit. So this is profit volume chart, and it explains you cost, volume, profit, and that is why we consider this as cost, volume, profit analysis, because here it shows us when the number of units are changing and what happened to our fixed cost, we can cover it, and at this moment we covered it in full, and thereafter we can have profits. Okay, so that is all about break-even charts. First, basic break-even chart and the contribution break-even chart. This is the final one. It is the profit volume chart. Then I am planning to discuss with you few limitations we have in the break-even analysis. I told you break-even analysis is a very important management tool where we can identify the number of units we want to sell to break even or else to cover our cost. But it is a theoretical concept. When we are having theoretical concepts, we do have some practical difficulties and we have some assumptions. So when we were talking about the break-even formulas also, time to time I brought few assumptions. So now let's talk about the limitations or the practical difficulties we have when we are talking about the break-even analysis. First one, throughout this analysis we consider cost and revenue. Each and every line I had, they are linear lines, right? Straight lines. But in the practical scenario, is it linear? No. So you know, we discuss about this. Direct material. When we are talking about direct material, we have bulk discount and we enjoy the economies of scale when it comes to direct labor. We have bonus payments and we have overtime payments. So we cannot have that linear fashion each and every moment in the practical world. But we considered only the linear behavior of cost and revenue. So it is the first difficulty or the limitation we do have. And when we were talking about the cost classification, we had 3 types of cost. But here for this analysis, I considered only 2 types, that is variable cost and the fixed cost. Means we ignore the semi-variable cost. But in the practical scenario in the company, we do have those 3 types of cost. So that is the second limitation. And the third limitation, can you remember when we were talking about fixed cost, when you are expanding your business, when you are increasing the number of units you produce, you have to go for the step fixed cost. But here we didn't talk about that. Whatever the number of units we are producing, we considered we have that constant fixed cost behavior and we ignore the step fixed cost, which is not true in the practical scenario. That is the third one. Fourth one fourth limitation we can consider. For each and every activity level, for each and every selling moment, we considered the one type of selling cost or selling price, or else we considered our selling price is constant for each and every selling unit, which is not true in the practical scenario. Why? When we are purchasing direct material, when we increase the number of units we produce, we expect bulk discount and we are planning to enjoy economies of scales from our suppliers. But how about our customers' expectation? When they are purchasing from us our own finished goods, that means when we are selling, when they are increasing their number of units and when they are having bulk purchases, as the seller, we also need to provide bulk discount. Then our selling price will be changed with the number of units we sell. But here we considered a constant selling price per unit. So that's the next limitation we do have. And can you remember, I told you, we don't have any stock. For this analysis, that means the number of units you produce exactly similar to the number of units we sold. Yes. But think about this. In the practical scenario, no, I don't have any stock. I don't have raw material stock. I don't have work in progress or finished good. Then now what happened? Very loyal customer all of a sudden come and ask from me, now I want to have within 5 hours time or within at around 4 p.m. I need to have 1,000 shirts. Now think about my situation. So I want to satisfy my customer, but in the meantime, to satisfy that customer requirement, I don't have any stock. So I want to call my suppliers and I want to have all these raw materials and I want to arrange my labors. And how about my machineries? How can I guarantee the efficiency of these machines, right? How about the breakdowns? And let's say we have 5 kilometers from supplier's location to our factory. Then how about the transportation? And how can we guarantee our supply chain efficiency, or else how can we rely on our suppliers? Those are the practical implications we do have in the practical scenario when it comes to the real world production. But theoretically, what we called, we don't have any stock, right? And whatever the number of units we produce, we sell, so we don't have any stock. Can we do like this in the practical, the real world production? No. So it is a theoretical concept only. So for the analysis we considered like that, but in the practical scenario we don't have such situations due to the implications we discussed so far. So now can you understand? Even though we had a lot of assumptions for the theoretical component, in the practical scenario it is totally different. So these are the limitations we have. Another thing, so far whatever the example I'm talking about, can you remember I discussed about shirts manufacturing. So in a company where they produce more than one product, that means they do have multiple products. So this is not the way to find the break-even point. So it is little bit different. So this break-even analysis and this concept cannot be applied for a company where they produce more than one product. That means when they do have multiple products, it's little bit different. And whatever the movements, cost and the revenue, we consider only the number of units and the cost or revenue. But how about the other factors? So there can be various factors affects to our cost, and there can be various factors affects to our sales revenue, such as pestle factors, how our competitors are reacting, how and the Porter's 5 forces. Have you heard about these things? How my competitors are reacting, and how my suppliers, and how about the bargaining power. So based on all these factors, our cost and revenue can be changed. But we didn't consider those factors for this analysis. Now can you understand? So these are the few limitations we have in the break-even analysis. Before winding up this session, I would like to tell you another fact you can find under this topic, that is the differences between accountant's break-even chart and economist break-even chart. So far we discussed about whatever the graph we drew here, those are accountant's charts. But when it comes to economist break-even chart, it's a little bit different. Look at this. This is the rupee value and this is the number of units, right? Number of units, then it's like this. What is this? This is my total revenue and this is my total cost. Why they do have this type of graph? Because I told you, they consider bulk discounts, economies of scale and bonus payment, all the other factors in the economic world which affects to the business activities. They have considered all and they have drawn those graphs, total revenue and total cost. Now what happened? They do have two break-even points. We call this BEP1 and this is BEP2. And what happened? They consider this range, right? Let's say this is the relevant range for their discussion when it comes to break-even analysis. Now can you understand? This is different from the accountant's break-even chart. They have two break-even points, right? So those are the differences you can identify in between the accountant's break-even chart and economist break-even chart. So that's the end of my discussion. But I would say, depending on the syllabus you are following and depending on the course you are getting ready for, the syllabus content may vary. Here I discuss only the basic information about break-even analysis. If you feel I want to discuss more question on this, or else if you come across multiple product company and you want to find the break-even chart or the break-even point, so you can have separate discussions with me. For that you can comment on this video, or else you can visit my Facebook page, it is Math with Jiva, or else you can send me a mail, it's learnmathwithjiva@gmail.com. So you think about your own capacity and whether you want to discuss more questions or whether you want to discuss more theories on this, because we know after this we want to have limiting factor analysis under cost accounting, which I cannot discuss here because it is vary according to your syllabus content, right? So based on that discussion will be vary. So what you want to do, if you want to have another separate discussion with me with relevant to break-even analysis and with relevant to limiting factor analysis, you can contact me either through my Facebook page or you can comment on this video, or else you can send me a mail. I'll ready for that, because now you know the basic concept behind this. Now having that knowledge, you can move forward with this area, which is very easier for you to score marks whatever the examination types you are planning to set. So we'll meet again with another cost accounting principle. Most probably it will be on budgeting. So let's see. So till then, what you want to do, you can go through all the videos, cost classification, break-even analysis, and whatever the questions I have uploaded to my Facebook page. Go through all of them and thorough with all these topics to move forward with me to be a master of management accounting or else cost accounting. Okay, and also finally, don't forget to subscribe my YouTube channel. It's Math with Jiva, and click the bell button to get the notification in future, so you may learn lot of things about cost accounting. Till then, see you everyone.